Hey everyone, welcome to Dear Dad with Ivan and Brad. He's Ivan, I'm Brad, and this is episode 9. We are about ready to break out of the single-digit episodes. So stay tuned for number 10 coming up soon. And we are two dads who give our viewpoints on a male and father's perspective on everything marriage, divorce, being a single parent, parenthood, co-parenting, and anything around those type of subjects. And so stay tuned, and we think we'll have a really good subject for you guys today. Ivan, now 2 weekends ago, it's kind of old news, but it's kind of still fresh. Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
You know, I'm not the biggest person on the political aspect of things. Right. But to me, man, that's just the biggest flex anybody can do. It's one thing for like Facebook to go and buy all these tech companies, right? Once they get big. You got, I swear I muted it, but then you got one guy, one person, buying a whole tech company, one of the biggest companies in the world. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, it's
44 billies.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I think he had, from what I understand, he got a couple people to go in on it with him, like maybe banks or.
Oh, none of it is his money, but
yeah, but still, that's a huge purchase.
Yeah.
Just kind of say, hey, I'm gonna buy this company, and like you said, it's not a small little tech company. It's one of the largest social media sites out there right now. So
it's crazy. I mean, from what I know, what they want to do with it, what he wants to do with it is clear up the free speech and
right.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I use Twitter for is going to look at the trending topics to keep up on my news,
right?
You know, or celebrity gossip and stuff like that. But yeah, that's, or like sports. If I miss a game or something, I go to Twitter, look at the highlights. But that's it. I mean, there's a lot of wild stuff on Twitter. Wild stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Everything just has to be so political these days, man.
Oh yeah, and it's polarizing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've heard other people say it as well, but I think the same thing. It's like it doesn't matter if it really doesn't matter what party you are, you vote for. 80 to 90% of people, or I would say 80 to 90% of what you believe, your friend does also, who votes different from you. Mm-hmm. It's that 10% that you're willing to like absolutely fight over, like cats and dogs. And I don't know, it's crazy. It'd be nice if we could kind of like say, hey, I understand your viewpoint, and here's mine, and we have a nice, simple discussion. But I think if you go back to even the founding fathers, if you look at those times when they were in those courtrooms and in those, in the Congress, in the chambers, and they were talking to each other, it wasn't just like, hey, how you doing, Bobby? I'm doing good. They were going off on each other, and it's I think it's always been like that. So I don't ever see it changing. But
I don't think so either, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. But today, our topic is not about buying anything. It's actually about our failures. But I'm pretty sure we both can say Elon Musk probably failed at quite a few things before he became successful, and that's why he is successful, because of all of his failures.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, do you, as a father, do any like particular events or anything in your life stick out that like you're like, man, that was a real failure of mine, or I could have done better? Maybe not so much a failure, but
yeah, man. The one that would always come to mind is scariest moment of my life. My son, he was sick. He was like 1 year old, somewhere around there, maybe 1.5, something like that.
Okay.
And he was really sick for a few days, like just a cold, And one night or one morning, I woke up to him seizing next to me in the bed.
Oh, okay. He was having a seizure.
A seizure.
Oh, wow.
And I was freaking out, man, because, like, imagine you're you're sleeping and your alarm clock is a seizing baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's bananas, right?
Right.
So, like, I get up and I see him next to me, and he's, like, shaking and, like, just going crazy. And I've never been around that. I've never even, nothing, right? So I don't know anything about what's going on. So I'm, like, grabbing him, not helping, shaking him, like, wake up, because I didn't know if he was dreaming, dying. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm like, Elijah, wake up. But he wasn't reacting. And, I got my phone. I called the ambulance. I was like, hey, my baby is shaking. I think he's having a seizure. And then it lasted a while. A few minutes, I think.
Right.
Something like that.
Which is an eternity.
Yeah.
For a parent to
Maybe
watch
not a
kid.
few minutes, but yeah, it lasted a long time.
Right.
Well, it felt like. And finally, firefighters, ambulance came. They were able to, like, calm him down, or he calmed down on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in an ambulance. I called his mom. I was like, hey, Elijah just had a seizure, and she just started freaking out on the phone, like screaming in the middle of her work. And she, like, ran out, met us at the hospital. But it was crazy, man, because we get him there. They had him hooked up to all these machines and wires and this and that to monitor everything, because they told us that it's a common thing. It's like cerebral fever, something like that. Their brain just overheats, and that's what causes them to seize. Is that what it is? To seize? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
To seizure or to seize?
Probably, yeah, to seize. If you're going to say, yeah.
To seize?
Yeah, to seize.
Right. But to seize means to stop.
Okay, then maybe just...
To seizure?
Yeah, he was just seizure.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll just leave the two out of it and just say he was having a seizure.
Yeah, he was having a seizure, And so they told us it's common, but the fact that he was seizing for so long, seizing for so long,
right?
That's what worried the doctors more than anything.
Okay.
So they kept him there a few times, and he was not normal. Like, after he, like, when he was in the hospital, he just wasn't normal. He was, like, very distant. Like, he didn't recognize us, and he was just like, my son is a very jittery kid, and he active, and talks a lot. And he would just lay there in bed and just stare out into us. Like, you would think he's paralyzed, that type of, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And man, it was just scary, man. It was very scary. And, I feel like it's because we did a bad job at monitoring him while he was sick, letting his fever get to that point.
Right.
So that's not a lesson I want anybody to learn through personal experience, because it's very scary. Unfortunately, I had to. But yeah, man, if your kids are sick, you got to keep an eye on them, keep them cool. That's what I mean, not that I learned that day, but I learned how serious it can really be. Because, we thought we were doing a good job, but we weren't doing good enough. And, when the kid is sleeping all night, and you're sleeping all night, how do you monitor that?
Right.
And, that's where that was the scariest day of my life. Yeah.
Well, and it makes sense now why we put cold washcloths, on our kids' necks and on their foreheads and stuff to keep them cool.
Yeah.
Because it's not just so much about them getting a fever, but what that fever can do to them, especially as a young, like, toddler.
Yeah.
And cause them to seize like that. That's crazy. Man, that would be scary.
Yeah.
That'd be super scary. Yeah. Speaking of, like, failures, I would probably say, and I know I've talked to you about this before, but I would say one of my regrets, and I would even say it's a failure, is I feel like I've told you before, I can play any kind of pickup game as an adult. I can go play basketball, baseball, football, and I might not be great at it now, but I can still play. I know the positions. I know, how the game works. And I never got my sons involved in just basic sports. And it's crazy because I come from a sports family. My dad was a coach, and he coached not just baseball, basketball, and football, but he also coached, like, tennis and swimming. And so he taught us all those things. And it's interesting because, like I said, these past few weekends with my boys, I've taken them to the tennis courts, and we've been hitting the tennis ball back and forth. And for me, like, again, I'm not great at it, but I know how to hold the racket. I know how to swing it, hit the ball, all because my dad taught me how to do that. And I've never shown my boys, although these last 3 weeks I have been. However, my oldest is getting ready to turn 18 this month, in May here. And then my youngest one is 14. And so I kind of learned that when I was younger. When I was like maybe like 8, 9, 10, 11, I started picking up a tennis racket. But yeah, I mean, they've never really shown a whole lot of initiative. And Ethan was he was a preemie, and so he was so small up until he hit puberty. I mean, he always looked like he was like 2 to 3 years younger than what he really was.
Like scrawny small?
Yeah, okay. Super skinny, and yeah, just so he never really had the initiative of wanting to go play baseball, and until he hit puberty, he really didn't have a good grasp of his muscles, and he couldn't control his muscles to the point of like being able to play baseball, basketball, or football.
When I see your son Ethan,
mm-hmm.
we're talking about Ethan, right?
Right.
So I see a well-built kid. I
right.
see strength.
Mm-hmm.
I see I don't see scrawny. And not that you're saying he is. I'm just saying like he seems like a sturdy kid, right?
Right.
So there's no doubt that your kids are athletic. I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know how to play those sports.
Right. Well, but the thing is like Ethan, when he hit puberty, his whole entire body just completely changed. Mm-hmm. Like he just morphed into a whole different human. Yeah. And that was what was crazy. But anyways, like I said, I did get him involved in like Taekwondo, and then just throughout the year and a half to 2 years he was doing it, I just noticed he just wasn't progressing like I was hoping he would progress, and his mind wasn't quite there with wanting to focus on it. But my youngest one has always been a little bit more coordinated from a younger point of view. And like I said, he came out normal. He didn't come out preemie. And that's what I mean by normal, not mess up with the head.
Yeah.
But normal as in like just a normal weight. He was a good sized baby. So I could have put him in baseball and basketball and said, hey, just plays for a year. Let me know what you think. And not to mention, it's a great way to make friends. The small town I came from when I was younger, a lot of those kids I played YMCA basketball with or Little League baseball with, I've even remained friends up to this day, even just on Facebook. I know who they are. We might not be pals or good buddies, but we've both tagged each other or friended each other on different social media sites, and that's important. And I think as a father, I wish I would have gotten my kids involved so they would have those friendships based on a sports or an athletic point of view that I had that they don't have right now. So, yeah, that's a regret that I'll always have, but I can't go back and change it, but I can start from where they are now and get them involved in stuff.
Yeah, you can. You can. We went out to play basketball that one day.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me like they had fun. Mm-hmm. What was the car ride like home? Did they talk about it? Like,
yeah, they enjoyed it. They were ready to eat.
Yeah.
I think we wore them out. They wore me out.
Yeah, so. It was fun, man.
Yeah,
I like playing sports, man, and I think that you're right. There's so many benefits to it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the. Let me tell you something, Brad. There is nothing more. Okay, to me, in
mm-hmm.
my opinion, there is nothing cooler than seeing your kids
mm-hmm.
be successful at anything, right?
Right.
But I'm going to say sports because that's the conversation we're talking about, and that's because that's my life, the sports. Right. My kids aren't old enough to where they can be successful academically yet, so I'm not even speaking on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking on sports. And when you see your kids kick some butt,
mm-hmm.
it's some of my videos lately that I take of my daughter playing soccer,
mm-hmm.
I can't help but just to and you can hear me in the videos just be like, damn, or wow.
Right.
Because it's my daughter, man, she's doing some things out there it's crazy. It's crazy to me, man. It's my son too. My son, I keep saying this. My son can be the same way. He just has to unlock that part of himself.
Yeah.
Where he like where he can go out there and just like
lay it all out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's just too nice still. Yeah. He's too nice. My daughter is mean.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's good.
Yeah. Another one that I can think of, and it's not so much of a. It kind of is it is a failure a little bit / regret, and that's not staying with the mother of my kids. Not because of anything with her and I.
Right.
That's not why it's a failure. It has nothing to do with us. It's because as a father, in my mind, the perfect father, I mean, pristine, perfect, 100 out of 100
right.
father, is that person that will stay with his family, and raise his children. I'm a great dad. I believe I am. I'm sure the same way you believe you are a great dad.
Right.
But if we are honest with ourselves, I think we can both say, I'd be an even better dad if I can see my kids every single day.
Right.
If I could tuck my kids every single day. If I can wake up with my kids every single day.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn when I say that, but that's really what I think. Even though we are great dads now with our situations, I think that we could take that extra step just by being able to be with our kids every single day.
Right.
And I believe that's one of my things. Sure that sometimes relationships just aren't meant to be, right? And sometimes you do cause more harm to your children staying with that person, which in your situation and mine, from what we both have heard from each other, would probably be the case, because they were so toxic, they were bad, too much fighting, this and that and the other, right? And that's fine. We're making the best out of it as we can.
Right.
But yeah, I think about that all the time, What if I would have stayed with them?
Right.
Or with their mom, But it just wasn't a good situation for either one. And now, she's happy. She has her own new life.
Right.
Remarried, new kid. And I'm so happy for her. I've said this before. I'm very happy for her. And I'm happy with where I'm at right now as well, other than like my weight. That's the only thing I'm sad about in my life. And that's why I say it's kind of a regret, but not really, because it has nothing to do with her and I. It's just about the kids. I wish I would have been there. I could be there every single day.
Right.
But at the same, I mean, who knows where we would be if we would have stayed together? We probably would have had like 7 kids by now, and I don't want 7 kids, and so man.
Yeah, no, I would say if I had to pick a second failure, that would definitely be mine right there with you. I mean, and it's probably we're probably speaking more from a greedy point of view of wanting to be with our kids.
Yeah.
Because the relationship that their mother and I were in was just not a healthy relationship. And my biggest failure was just not, especially because I was younger at the time, and I've learned from it, but just not handling their circumstances better, and especially when the kids were in the room. Not raising our voices and yelling at each other, and just getting mad the way we got mad. I wish I could.
About that?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Do you feel like you do that subconsciously, or because I've never been the one to scream, to hit, to punch walls. Like if you ask their mom or any other partner I've ever had, I've never even like screamed at them. Like sometimes you might get in an argument and voices might raise a little bit, right? A little bit, not even like crazy. I just mean a little bit.
Yeah.
other than that, what is that like? Do you? Because you said you've changed, right? You don't do those things anymore.
Right.
What helped you change that?
Finding someone that I got along with. I mean, honestly, like I used to say in my first marriage, I felt like I was just married to my sister. The sister that just always bugged me, and I always bugged her, and we just never got along. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm not gonna say we never got along. There's probably days that we got along, at some point. But majority of the time, we were arguing every day, and sometimes multiple times a day. And it wasn't like barely raising our voices. Like I was yelling at the top of my lungs at her and just extremely upset.
Sounds like hatred.
Right. It was anger is what it really was. And what's funny is, so this weekend, my son had his spring dance. And so we were all taking pictures, and she showed up, and I expected her to, and she brought her boyfriend and stuff. So I asked my son if he would walk down the sidewalk with his girlfriend away from us so I could take a picture. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can do that. So he starts walking. And then his mom just started walking with him.
Like next to him?
Well, like kind of starting to walk behind him just a little bit. Like she was about 10, 20 feet behind him and just start walking. And like that switch in my head, this guy was like, what is she doing? Like I just said I was getting ready to take a picture, and then she starts walking. So I mean, obviously I composed myself, but I was like, hey, I used her name, and I said, hey, can you hold up for a second so I can take a picture? And she was like, oh, okay. And she stopped.
Maybe she didn't hear you. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Right,
okay, yeah.
Maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
It was just like one of those things where I was like, you gotta be kidding, man. Just like all those emotions like hit me all at one time again for like a half a second. Like literally just like half a second. It didn't stay with me, but I'm just like, holy cow. Did you not hear what I said? And that's how our relationship was all the time. Like I was always kind of like I would say something, she wouldn't understand it. I'd say it again, and it just caused an argument because we did not communicate well. We didn't understand each other. I would say one thing and mean this, or she would say one thing and mean that, and neither one of us took it the right way. It was always like we were constantly battling for who was right, who was wrong, and even the way we raised our kids was just, excuse me, it was just different. And I was a little bit, like I said, I think in our first or second episode, I was really big on choosing the battles. Yeah, and just choosing the battles and saying like, hey, the kids are gonna make mistakes and they're gonna do things, and we need to learn to let it go. And that was one thing that I was really big on, where I felt like she wanted to engage in every single battle, where I was like, you don't need to. And sometimes I was able to talk her out of it and get her to like ease up on certain things, but it was just those constant like differences over a course of 16 years. And then the fighting, I was just like, that was my biggest failure, because I just felt like, and to this day, I tell the boys, like, hey guys, you see how your stepmom and I get along, Tanya and I have an amazing relationship, and we talk all the time, we laugh. If we do get into an argument, we fix it. The boys have watched us get into an argument in front of each other.
And it's nothing like it.
Nothing like it. And then we fix it, like instantly. I walk over and give her a hug. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, babe.
And these are probably little stupid arguments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not anything serious like before.
Right.
Right.
And even the ones before might have been little. Oh. But there were so many that everything just became big.
Yeah.
So
when did that start? So you guys were together 16 years?
Mm-hmm.
What year did the arguing start, the fighting?
Probably year 1.
Really?
Yeah, maybe year 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was year 1.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just, we were together for 11 months, I think. I can't remember now. We'll call it 11 months. And then we got engaged. And then we got married almost a year later, I think. I can't remember the dates. I'm not going to try to remember them right now. But it was something like that. It was like,
not the only one.
Right. It was like, after a year or so of us, it might have been a year and a half. We might have been together for a year and a half, and then we got married shortly after that, or like 11 months later. I can't remember. But anyways, I just feel like we never developed a good friendship, and it was never really good from the beginning, and we probably should not have
been together,
gotten married. However, there's no way I would ever reverse any of that because of those two boys that I have are amazing, and I couldn't ask for two better boys. And so I'm just like, I would not erase my past because of that. However, I would change certain aspects. But now I'm able to look back at that and say, hey, guys, I'm sorry for the way I treated your mom and the way we got into arguments and the way we just nitpicked at each other and we never got along, because that's not what a relationship is. And if you find someone that you love, find someone that you like their parents, because when you marry them, you marry their parents. And my dad used to always tell me that. He goes, Brad, don't forget, when you're marrying this girl, you're marrying her parents. So if they have issues with you or you have issues with them, it's going to be like that for the rest of your life.
And you know what? Sometimes you just have to suck that up. I've given this example with my dad before, where if he would have been, because my dad is just not a people person. Well, hold on. It's weird because usually people that he meets randomly, they like him.
Okay.
He likes them. It's cool. But it's not somebody that he's going to like see every day type of thing, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Or live with. But my dad has never really had a good relationship with pretty much anybody in my mom's family or friendship group or anything like that. And I feel like if he would have understood that, hey, sometimes you just got to suck that up, that his relationship with my mom would have been so much better. Just from that. Out of the many things, that one little aspect of it would have made a huge difference in that relationship in general.
Right.
You know, like if you think of all the sitcoms you know of, especially the older ones, there's always that one, right? Like Married with Children, it's Al, and then he hates the neighbor, right?
Oh, right.
Which is the friend of the family, whatever.
Yeah.
But they bicker, right?
Yeah.
If it's George Lopez show, it's George Lopez's wife and George Lopez's mom. They're always bickering.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. King of Queens. They got the dad living with them. You know, and right. So you have to deal with it.
Right.
Yeah. You could fight and this and that, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to become a family.
Right.
And you know,
and you can't use your spouse's parents as part of the argument. Like you shouldn't include them in like, well, no wonder you're like that because your mom's like that or your dad's like that or whatever it is. And I can tell you I probably used that as an argument at one point during my first marriage. And yeah, there's a lot of things I honestly can look back on and realize like, Brad, you just made some huge mistakes. And that's okay because I'm a much better person now because of it. Her family might not ever believe that, you know, or her friends, and that's fine because that's not my world anymore. That's not my bubble that I live in, not my circle of friends.
It's not your focus either.
Yeah. So my thing is moving forward, making my current circle of friends and family the focus. And I just know that you have to fail, and sometimes you fail huge. Sometimes you fall on your face, and sometimes you do it publicly in front of thousands of fans on a Super Bowl or World Series, and sometimes you do it behind closed doors. But whatever it is, we have to learn from it, move forward, and then make the next thing that we do better.
100%. I saw my ex's mom. Yesterday, Saturday, because she came to my son's game, and since her and I split up, I've only seen her mom a handful of times in passing, you know. And yesterday was the first time I saw her in quite a while too. And she used to love me. She used to treat me like one of her own kids, and you know, especially when we first split up. Like she was, I think, more on my side than anything. It was she was, I don't know. I think she, at least, unless I'm wrong, I don't know, but I think she loved me, right? But, you know, I saw her yesterday. I gave her a hug. I asked her how she was doing, this and that. I don't know how she feels about me now. But, you know, I made sure not to be rude to her or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, you have to be nice to the parents and the friends and stuff like that, because yeah, you don't want to break up any relationships that she already has formed.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Hey, speaking of friends, I don't know if we've discussed this or not yet.
Okay.
Yes, we have actually. I think we have.
Okay.
But do you believe that men and women can be just friends? We have discussed this.
We have, yeah.
Because you mentioned your friend from Missouri.
Right, yeah, who I've been friends with for like 12 years now.
Right.
I said 6, and I got off the show, and I'm like, I've been friends with her for like almost 12 years or 13 years. It's like, and I said 6. I'm like, she's probably going to call me up and yell at me.
So let me ask you this then. If she comes up here, she calls you, says, hey, Brad, I'm in Seattle. Let's go have dinner. I want to catch up.
Yeah.
You're going?
Yeah.
What if your wife now says, no, thank you. Please don't go.
Oh, then I wouldn't go.
Okay.
And I would explain that to my friend, like, hey, my wife doesn't feel comfortable with me just going up there with just the two of us. And my friend would be like, oh, no, that's cool. I completely understand. Does your wife want to come? I mean, I know that's what she would say. Mm-hmm. She would instantly say, oh, I meant for actually both of you and your wife to come. Okay. That's what she would say, because I know how she is. So, but yeah, if my wife said, I don't want you to go, then yeah, I wouldn't go.
Have you seen the clip of Steve Harvey explaining why men and women can never be friends?
I don't know if I have. I don't think. No, I haven't.
We can't show it right now because we don't have a third person anymore. But there's a really good clip of him speaking. He was doing an interview. They were interviewing him, and they asked him that. He was like, "Listen, I have no female friends because I am married. You know, if you ever have a man and a woman, they are only friends because the woman said that that's all there could be. Because at one point, that man wanted more. And the woman said, nope, we're right here. We are just friends. But that man is usually always waiting for that little window to open up.
Oh, he thinks that's how every man is, or just
men?
Men in general.
He says 99.9% of men are that way. So maybe you and that person from Missouri are that 0.1%, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you could be, right? Which is awesome.
Right.
But yeah, man, and I've been asked that before too, and that conversation comes up quite often just in regular daily conversation with people.
Right.
And he explained it so because that's how I feel. Also, like in the situation I just gave you, in the scenario, like, why do I want 10 female friends? Then I come and I get into a relationship with somebody over here.
Right.
You think I'm going to ever see these people again? Probably not really.
Right.
Right.
I mean, and you're definitely not going to be like a normal hangout thing.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And
I could see, and this is where when you get married, your spouse has to become part of your circle of friends. So I feel like I think it'd be weird if it was like you had 10 women who were your friends, you were going out with them all the time, and it was just you and them, and then your wife is
individual friends, not just a group.
Gotcha. Okay, so not as a group, but as individuals. Yeah. And so I think that like you would definitely cool the jets on like hanging out because you guys aren't, a thing,
right?
And you never were, but you guys were just friends and took up each other's time. Were there to hang out when you guys went out. But now you have a spouse. Your friend should be like, hey, bring your wife and we'll hang out. And I could see going out to dinner, catching up and stuff, but you realize like that's about all it's ever going to be again and that's how it was for me. So like when I went back to Missouri, I saw my friend and her husband and their kids. We went over to their house and we were hanging out, and then we all went out to dinner, and then we all went and got some ice cream at another place. And then we just said our goodbyes there and went on our way. And for Christmas, she'll send me like a Christmas card of her family, and stuff like that. If her
people still do that, the Christmas cards.
My family, my middle brother, he sends out a Christmas card every year of his family.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, no. So she does that, and she might send me a picture of like, when one of her kids does something crazy or turns a certain age, whatever. They're like, oh look, she just turned 3 today or whatever like that. And just kind of show me a new picture she took of her or something. But other than that, though, it's, yeah. That's about all the relationship is. It's just kind of chilling and catching up with each other on what our families are doing. And we're both friends on Facebook now, so we don't have to send pictures and communicate as much because we have Facebook to see what's going on. I mean, it's like half my buddies in high school, I don't even talk to them because I see what they're doing on Facebook. And I'm like, hey, that looks like a cool vacation. Or, hey, congratulations to your daughter for, whatever they did. Or, what I mean? But, yeah, you just don't have those conversations anymore.
Yeah. But you understand that point about we're only friends because as a woman, I'm allowing it to get to this point only.
Right.
It makes sense, right? As a man, you can say, oh, yeah, that's true.
Right.
So that's where my head's at too, man.
Well, and the difference is I met my friend when she was married and I was married.
Mm-hmm.
So we met when we were married, and so we just never had any idea of like trying to go farther with it. And we really were just friends at work. Like we just saw each other at work and we'd talk at work and became friends that way. But we never went out and hung out individually, stuff like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I do think that probably is a very common thing, especially if you're both single and you come together. Like, why did you guys come together in the first place? Like, how did you become friends? Did your friends set you up on a date? Did you guys meet at a baseball game together?
Online.
Yeah, were you guys just hanging out in the same crowds, and then you became friends at the crowd hangout, and then you're like, hey, we should just go out and grab something to eat every once in a while and chat, and you're like, okay, cool. Because I think as humans, you're always kind of feeling out what's out there. You're like you're trying to find out like who's compatible with me, who can I get along with. My wife actually has a friend who they don't hang out anymore, but they used to hang out quite a bit. They initially met, and they went out on a date, and he wanted it to go a little farther, and she said, "No, we're just gonna be friends." And then he respected her.
There
for
it
that.
is. Yep.
And then he respected her, and then they just stayed friends, and that was fine. I've met him. He's a nice guy and stuff, but they don't go out and do stuff together.
But
anymore.
They talk.
I think they probably still talk every once in a while, but not really like they used to. So,
see, and that's that friend that's just waiting for the window to open.
Yeah, I think sometimes
because boom, we know he's attracted to her. We know this,
right? But they've known each other for like, I think it's now going on like probably 11 or 12 years. So this is like when they first met and then went out. So this is like one of those things where they met, they hung out for a little while at work, they went out on a date. She said this is all it's ever going to be is a friendship. And then he respected that, and they went out on other dates after that, like just hangout type things, like, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat, like, and stuff. And they would do that, but she said, like, yeah, we never did anything other than like go out on a date. And then I just said, no, we're not going farther. So I can definitely see if you're two single people. I could see, but I think even the female
married people too, man.
No, I agree. I think if two opposite married people are going out, then yeah, they're testing the waters possibly, and that's where you gotta be careful. And that's why I feel it's important that once you do become friends with someone, but then you get married, it's important to always make your spouse part of the conversation and part of the meeting, like the going out, So, but yeah, it could be dangerous, and that's why half the marriages or more fail.
I lost all my friends when I got married, man. All of them. Like,
why is that?
I don't know. It's just, my life changed so drastically because I met my ex-wife right after high school. Is when I met her. So all I had was my friends from high school at that point.
Okay.
Right. So boom, they go out, have their lives, college, not college, whatever they do.
Right.
And then I go have my life, kids, married. So slowly start losing contact one by one by one. Right now, I don't talk to anybody from my high school. Sometimes, every once in a while, I might have a conversation with somebody from high school. But that's about it. Other than that, I have a group of friends that I've known longer than high school. But I'm just talking about high school friends.
Right.
I don't have any of those friends from my high school.
Mm-hmm.
None. Isn't that crazy?
It is. I mean,
And it's not like I moved states or anything. I'm right here.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually moved states, so I'm quite a few states away from my former friends. And we're really just friends on Facebook or Instagram now. I mean, I don't call them. And say, I've got two friends one was from college. He and I are still good friends, but we talk maybe once a year. And I have another friend that we've been friends since junior high, and we talk again like once a year. But when we talk, it's like nothing, no time has passed, you know. And those are my two good friends. But yeah, other than that, if I have friends, it's the ones I've made recently and stuff like that. Yeah,
Brad, if you enjoy watching basketball, you have to start watching basketball right now. NBA playoffs are going on right now, man. It's crazy.
Is it pretty good?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets just got swept. They got two of the best, supposedly the best scorers ever, and they got swept.
So they were
in round one.
Were they expected to win?
They were the favorites to win the championship before the season started.
Oh, wow! And they got and was this?
And
the
they
very
got
first?
Swept in the first round.
First round, okay. Wow.
By the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
Which might now get swept by the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got to start watching, man. Warriors are winning again.
Yeah.
It's fun times, man. Fun times. You got to start watching. At least the playoffs. It's the best time of the year.
Yeah. I like basketball. I think it's good. I wish they didn't travel so much, but, you know.
Hey, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
All right, man. You got any dad jokes for me?
I got a dad joke. Yeah, I got a dad joke.
How many you got today? One?
I could have maybe two. Just never know. All right, here's one.
We got to start doing something, man. We need some repercussions. If you don't make me laugh,
okay.
Make you do something, man.
Pie in the face or something?
Something, man, because
I'm going to have
ridiculous.
A lot of pies in the face. All right. My wife said I should do lunges to stay in shape. That would be a big step forward. Is that pie in the face?
Yeah, that's a pie.
Okay, let's do one more. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing?
To wash the balls?
In case they get a hole-in-one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Whew, man, I was sweating that pie.
I got a riddle.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you've heard this one. Hopefully not. It's not funny. It's just a riddle. Let's see if you can get it. A girl was on a 20-foot ladder, and she fell off the ladder, but she did not get hurt. Why?
Because the ladder was laying down?
No.
I don't know why.
Because she fell off the bottom step.
Oh, my gosh.
See?
Yeah.
See the delivery?
Yeah. That was amazing.
Okay. Get us out of here,
I'm going to
man.
work on that one. All right, guys. So you just witnessed episode 9 with Dear Dad with Ivan and Brad. And we talked about failures, talked about, how we view them now and how they shaped us. And so we hope you guys got some good benefit out of that. But again, like we said, we're two dads giving you our viewpoints. We appreciate everything you guys do for us with the comments, with the views. Keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing, and share our videos if you find them beneficial. But we have episode 10 next week coming up, and it's going to be on Ivan and my favorite athletes. I'm going to pick our top 3 from any sport. So stay tuned with Ivan and Dad, stay tuned for Ivan and Brad. Stay tuned for Dear Dad with Ivan and Brad. For crying out loud. Wow.